You think you and your Hall of Fame quarterback buddy like football? Well, John Gruden and Brett Favre don't just like football. They love it.
Watch this throw, rolling to my left, backing up. That's awesome, man. And I'm making another throw. The next,
it's like it came right out of heaven.
It had to drop in like a butterfly with sore feet. It had to drop in like that.
Like a what?
Football!
Football! Yeah! Football! Football!
Welcome into Purple Daily. Phil Mackey, Judd Zulgad, Declan Goff producing, and it's another 4-question Friday. Why not 5? I don't know, because we don't want to run out of questions by the time the year ends, and we wanted to keep the alliteration. So that's how we landed on 4-question Friday here, boys. 4 football questions. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Shoot.
The first one actually comes, and by the way, just to get the pleasantries out of the way, thank you to everyone who has subscribed to either this YouTube channel, Purple Daily. Thanks to the people who have subscribed to our other YouTube channel, where a lot of other Mackey and Judd related content, including discussions about the Wild, Twins, Timberwolves, and other nonsensical things. That YouTube channel is Score North MN, youtube.com/ScoreNorthMN. So if you could subscribe to our YouTube channels, you'd be helping the show. If you listen in just audio form, Apple, Spotify, ScoreNorth.com, that helps us as well. We also have an app with all of our Score North content. It is free to download. It's just the Score North app. All right, now let's get to 4-question Friday. Let's do it. This one comes from a loyal listener of the show here. This is Drew on Twitter. And he said, I had an idea for a Purple Daily discussion I thought I would share if you guys are interested. I am with you guys that Kirk isn't necessarily the long-term answer. And he says, I can't stand the Kirk apologist. So if you want to fight, it's Drew on Twitter if you want to search him, if you want to fight him. Yep. He said, my question is, what would each playoff team look like with Kirk Cousins as their starting quarterback? Would that team be better or worse? Would that team be a legit Super Bowl contender or no? My thought is he makes 75% of the teams worse, and those that he makes better would still not be Super Bowl contenders. This is my response to Kirk apologists saying we need to build up the team around him. So let's go through. Let's do an exercise here. Let's just go through quickly the 8 teams that are left in the playoffs. And the 2 questions are, would they be better or worse? And would they either still be or could they be a Super Bowl contender?
They might not be playing now.
Well, let's just assume that they've gotten to this point.
All right. Okay. All right.
And I don't know, maybe he intends for it to be like more of a full season discussion. You can interpret it however you want. The Kansas City Chiefs, if you replace Pat Mahomes with Kirk Cousins, would they be better or worse? And would they be a legit Super Bowl contender?
They would be best case, the Chiefs with Alex Smith at quarterback.
Yeah.
So they would not be a Super Bowl contender. They would be good. They would not be great. No is the answer.
No, just a hard no. They would not be the same.
Would they be worse for sure? I actually think they would be better. I think Kirk Cousins is better than Alex Smith.
I agree.
But Alex Smith, I mean, you can probably count on one hand how many like bad game-altering decisions he's made in his career. He just doesn't take risks. He just like he never throws for 30 touchdowns in a season, right? Like he never throws for 4,700 yards. He's just not that guy. He's very conservative. So I think Kirk at his best is going to be better than the Alex Smith Chiefs. I don't think that team is a Super Bowl contender, though. I think it's close because that Chiefs team is loaded, but it's so predicated on Pat Mahomes.
Yep.
What about the Packers? If you swapped out Rodgers for Cousins,
they'd be home right now.
Yeah.
No way. They would not be. I can tell you definitively, the Green Bay Packers would not be playing on Sunday, having been the one team in their conference to get a bye with Cousins at QB. Doesn't mean he's bad, but Rodgers is going to be, I think, the MVP of this league. So the answer to that one for me is for sure is a no.
Yeah, it's a hard no. And also, I wouldn't be a Green Bay Packer fan right now either, like I am right now in 2020. So I would not be rooting for the Packers. Yes. So that's a hard no. Yeah. Rodgers
he's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Actually, some of the things that people ding him for, which is also like lack of fourth quarter comebacks and things, but you get way more upside with Aaron Rodgers because he's just ridiculous. So they'd be worse. What about the Ravens? If you replaced Lamar Jackson with Kirk Cousins,
I will say no because so if you replaced Lamar Jackson with Kirk Cousins, you'd sort of be going back to the Joe Flacco time.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe Flacco during the Super Bowl run that the Ravens had got incredibly hot. I don't know if Kirk Cousins is capable of being that hot in the playoffs. I think he's very capable of being that hot for like 3 or 4 games in the regular season. But again, that offense has been so morphed and now predicated around what Lamar can do, good or bad at times, that I am going to say they are for sure not a Super Bowl contender if you go back to a Flacco type QB, which is what Kirk is more or less.
Yeah, I feel like Baltimore would have to change up their entire philosophy. Like they bank on Lamar Jackson literally being the athletic quarterback that he is to carry them. So it would be a completely different Ravens team. To Judd's point, it would probably look a lot like the Joe Flacco years.
Yeah.
And, right now I like the Ravens, but if you replaced Kirk and they were in this situation right now with Kirk Cousins and they had the same record that they do right now, I probably had them though on the same trajectory to win the Super Bowl. Like they're not the favorite in the AFC. They're in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, I think so. This is one of the more interesting ones, and that entire team and system is built around Lamar Jackson. They don't have the weapons in the passing game that the Vikings have. Marquise Brown is their best wide receiver. He got 58 passes for 769 yardage. Mark Andrews is a decent pass catching tight end. Willie Snead is their second leading wide receiver with 33 catches. So if you plug Kirk in with really, I'm not gonna say no offensive weapons, but with like worse offensive weapons, they don't have. J.K. Dobbins is fine. He ain't Dalvin Cook, right? Like they just don't have the weapons. Now Kirk I think you'd take that defense if you're Kirk Cousins, and it would be nice to not have to score 30 points every game, but that team would be very pedestrian. What about, all right, I'm going to throw these other ones out here. Among these, Bills, Rams, Bucks, Saints, and Browns, do any of those scream, yes, they would be better and they would be Super Bowl contenders?
I've got one that I think is, so I think that there's 2 potential of the list of 8 teams left alive in the playoffs. I think there's 2 potential yeses. I think the Rams, if you reunite Cousins with McVay, because McVay's a pretty good offensive mind, but here's the one that intrigues me the most, and I think might be a yes. How about this one, boys? Stefanski and Cousins in Cleveland. Because I'm not a Baker guy.
He's very insulated. Yeah,
exactly right. Cleveland is building something that's pretty damn well structured, and at least offensively resembles what Stefanski was doing from a play calling standpoint here. So the 2 that I could probably have the discussion that we are having and not laugh at myself completely would be the Rams, and I think especially Cleveland.
The Rams for sure. Jared Goff's the worst quarterback remaining in the playoff field, and I think we're doing a quarterback ranking. We'll get into that, but I actually think if you swapped Kirk Cousins on the New Orleans Saints right now, I think the Saints are better. Drew Brees, in my opinion, looks cooked right now. I mean, he can't throw the football anymore. If you gave Sean Payton Kirk Cousins,
wow,
I really think the Saints have a legitimate shot to beat. They would have a legitimate shot to beat the Packers and get to the Super Bowl.
So, all right, let's start with the Browns here. Baker's a little more mobile. I don't think Baker's as mobile as people think, but Baker's a little bit more mobile. Kirk is more just accurate and just a more professional passer. So do those things kind of wash out? I think the Browns are a little bit better with Kirk, but I also think the Browns are so loaded with weapons and their offensive line is amazing. And Myles Garrett, I don't know that there's a huge difference there. I think the Rams are definitely better with Kirk Cousins. And I think the Rams beat the Packers. Like, I think the Packers are going, if the Rams had a Kirk Cousins, I think they beat the Packers this weekend because you could just rely on that passing game and those weapons. The Saints thing's interesting. Breeze is 42 and he looks 42, and it's a lot of dink and dunk, like yards after the catch stuff. But Breeze also has this sort of Drew Brees-ness to him in clutch moments that Kirk doesn't have.
I also don't think that Peyton and Cousins would be a great potential coach QB marriage, because I think that Peyton would get frustrated quickly. I think the McVay Cousins marriage would be really intriguing, and I think it might work. I think McVay's more patient, and I think that I mean, Peyton is an offensive savant and genius, but that goes back years and years and years. I think McVay is the up-to-date, sort of as close as you can get to a PJ Fleckonian personality type of guy. I think the Cousins McVay thing might work.
Yeah. All right. Question number 2 for you guys here. 4-question Friday. Rank the 8 remaining starting quarterbacks in order for just this playoff stretch. So who would you want for just this playoff stretch in order 1 through 8?
Top to bottom or bottom to top? Which one do you guys prefer?
Up to you.
I'm not going there.
Depends on what you want to do.
Declan got in trouble the last time he went there. All right.
Yeah, just like a gentleman, right? What was your line?
He was a gentleman. Yeah.
Oh, he did. He said it.
Gentlemen start at the where? All right. Judd, what's your ranking?
You need to grow up, Declan Goff. Okay, I'm going to get 8-1. So I will start at the bottom and work my way up. Jared Goff is 8. I agree with Declan. I think Jared Goff is easily the worst QB left in the playoffs. I think the reality is if some guy that I had barely heard of until the Seahawks playoff game didn't suffer a concussion, he'd be starting. What was his name? Hollinger, is that correct?
Wooden? Wooden?
What was his name?
That was Wooden.
It's not Wooden.
It wasn't Wooden?
Hold on a second. Rams QB Hospital. Let's Google him.
He's got
Wolford.
Wolford.
Hollinger. Yeah. I don't care what his name is. He'd be starting. Jared Goff is
Rams QB.
Jared Goff is 8.
You had a John Wooden and we had a John Hollinger over here. It was just all right.
Hey, I'm sports dad. I'm getting old. Don't pick on me. Number 7, Baker. Number 6, Breeze. Number 5, Brady. Number 4, Lamar.
What?
3, Josh Allen. 2, Aaron Rodgers, and 1, Patrick Mahomes. That's who I want in order to try and win a Super Bowl right now.
Explain your Brady take there.
Yeah.
I've seen him play.
You can't because it's ridiculous.
Wait. I have seen him play enough in 2020 into 21 now, where his age has caught up to him at times. He's looked good at times, but he has also looked old. If I'm trying to win a Super Bowl, Lamar, Allen, Rodgers, and Mahomes are all ahead. Now, if you asked me this question 5 years ago, TB12 is number 1. But you're asking me for this playoff right now with how offenses work. And look, Declan's take on Brady was not entirely wrong. There have been times he's looked good, and Dex has been completely wrong about that. But there have been games where he has looked old and awful, and the offense has been out of sync. So I am putting Brady at 5, and I'm pretty confident.
Would you put
not take me long?
Would you put your money where your take is? And if Tom Brady wins the Super Bowl, would you agree to do 30 days on the TB12 method? So like you have to eat kale for every meal.
We're going to ask for $20.
Yeah, we asked.
We'll find you a hyperbaric chamber.
I was going to say, if you guys could find me a hyperbaric chamber, I will be happy to do it.
But
he will not win the Super Bowl. I would take that bet. He ain't winning the Super Bowl.
I do love kale. I could actually do the kale part. That'd be no problem.
Kale's fine with me.
It needs to be well prepped.
That's true.
You not like kale?
I like kale if it's prepped. Like Brussels sprouts and kale, I enjoy if they are prepared properly.
Okay.
I'm not just gonna take some kale off the shelf and
Tom Brady will not have the Lombardi Trophy in his possession after the Super Bowl.
Write that down.
Write that down.
Yeah.
Okay, Dex.
All right, my list. It's pretty same to Judd's without the Brady slander. Jared Goff, number 8. Baker Mayfield, number 7. Drew Brees, 6. I then go Lamar Jackson, 5.
Okay.
Josh Allen, 4. Tom Brady, 3. Aaron Rodgers, 2. Pat Mahomes, 1.
Okay.
I think Jackson has every right to rise up to this, but he finally broke his playoff bugaboo last week. Josh Allen, who looked awful in that Texans playoff game a year ago this time, he's now balling out with Stephon Diggs, so I do trust him. But Breeze has fallen off the earth. I think he's absolutely cooked, and I just can't pass up. I mean, Brady, Rodgers, Mahomes, I don't know how you would not have those guys in your top 3. So those are mine.
You and I are kind of similar here. I'll go from 8 to 1 as well. Goff, it probably would have been Baker like 6 weeks ago, but Goff, they didn't even want to start him. They literally made him a healthy backup last week. So yeah. Goff is 8, Baker 7. I got Breeze 6, Lamar 5, Josh Allen 4, Aaron Rodgers 3, Tom Brady 2, and Pat Mahomes number 1. Here's my take on Brady, and I could be proven. Judd might be right in that. Listen, that carriage is going to turn into a pumpkin. Over the last month, he has looked exactly like the Tom Brady of old. Starting with the Vikings game, and now the first half of the Vikings game, he tried to throw like 3 interceptions, but he's only thrown 1 interception in his last 5 games. He's consistently at like 70% completions, 300 yards in his last 4 games, almost 400 in 2 of them. And it just kind of feels like he's back to being the December and January Tom Brady that we have grown to see. So, and Pat Mahomes, obviously, number one. Okay, third question for you guys. Judd Zolgad sent this to us via email here. If the only way to retain Danielle Hunter was to sign him to a new deal and go with a league average, so you'd have to sign him to a bigger contract.
Yes.
And go with a league average or below guard to replace Dozier, and you don't get to add a corner. So you can either basically let Danielle Hunter, I don't know, hold out or trade him and then use the remaining money to fix these other spots, or would you just cave into Danielle Hunter at the expense of these other needs? Judd.
All right, I threw this out because I think that we need to look at this through the lens of the parameters of what's probably going to take place here. Like, it's very easy to say, sign Hunter, bring him back, give him an extension. He's great because he's a great player. But when you start to look at it through the lens of, and especially this, left guard absolutely was atrocious, and you're not improving it. So I am saying that there's a chance that you try to replace Dakota Dozier with Dakota Dozier. That's a problem. I think you have to look long and hard if you want to assure the health of this team, especially long term. I think you have to look long and hard at trading Hunter. I really do, because if I can't, so if Mike Hughes continues to have neck problems, and so I've got Gladney at corner and Dantzler, right? But if I bring Hunter back and give him a rich extension, I'm basically now bringing Chris Jones back, Chris Boyd. That scares me. The guard scares me a lot. So my answer is this is the realistic look at the picture as far as how I am concerned it might play out here. Yeah. And if the only answer is Danielle gets incredibly rich and I have to then again skim off of places that I saw the results when I skimmed off of them previously, I look and I probably make a trade, which I think could be a lucrative trade for the Vikings.
Yeah. What about you, Dex?
I think I can do that. I think I can extend him and find a league average guard. And I'm okay with accepting that league average guard because Dakota Dozier was the worst guard. So just by theory there, if you replace him with league average, that's already an improvement. I still keep Danielle Hunter. I make him happy. I can get down with that.
Man. So I probably paid Danielle Hunter. And I don't like the idea of just drastically overpaying non-quarterbacks, but I also think what's the next level of premium position? To me, it's guys who can get after the opposing team's quarterback. Is like Aaron Donald. I am looking at those guys as disruptors of their quarterback, and I will pay for that. And then I think you'd probably have to use. Then I think you just have to roll with Adenabo as the other defensive end and kind of cross your fingers and hope, and then you use your first round pick on an offensive guard. Because now you're talking about resources. You don't really have much in free agency spending if you give $10 million more a year to Danielle Hunter. So I would probably just swallow hard and pay Danielle Hunter. But this is going to be a discussion. Like this isn't. He's not just going to show up. I don't think he's just going to show up as like the 14th highest paid defensive end or something.
18th. It's incredible. 18th highest paid pass rush end, and he is for sure top 5.
Yeah,
when healthy.
All right, boys. Question number 4 on this 4-question Friday. If you could only watch 1 week of football per year, so look at the whole football calendar, and I'm talking NFL here, the NFL calendar. Which week would it be? And I'll just give you a few options to spark thoughts here. Would it be Super Bowl week? Would it be a Vikings-Packers week? Would it be the Super Wild Card weekend we saw last week? Draft week, free agency frenzy, bonanza week? If you could only engage in 1 week of football calendar every year, what's your favorite week?
Free agency is fantastic. I absolutely love it. That's really enticing. That's really intriguing.
You didn't get to watch any games. That's
right.
Okay. And so I am actually going to go with now. So for a long time, my answer to this question was Conference Championship Sunday, because those two games were great. So Super Bowl, when I was growing up, was often a blowout and it stunk. And I would never go with one game. Like I would never go with, I want to watch the Super Bowl. I am actually going to go with what we saw, despite the fact that there were some not great teams involved. Now, my new updated response last weekend, 3 games on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday, playoff games, wall-to-wall football. You don't have to move off your couch except to get a sandwich or go to the bathroom or get a beer. Look, I'm not a huge fan of there being an extra seed, but I love how it plays off with 3 games per day. I'm going to update my new answer now is what the league has come up with for wild card weekend, which is just wall-to-wall bonanza football.
Yeah. What about you, Dex?
For me, it's this weekend. Divisional round is always my favorite weekend. It's the top 4 teams in each conference. You get 2 games on each. You get still a full dose of football, just like you would on wild card weekend. I love this. I love this weekend. It's my favorite weekend for football. So I'd say the divisional round.
Yeah, we're going to have 3 different answers here. I love last week and this week. I still love the classic championship Sunday. I love the lead up. I love the anticipation. I love the fact that you almost always get, at least 2 or 3 borderline or surefire Hall of Fame quarterbacks. The Brady Manning era, right? And now there's a chance we might get think about the combinations. We might get a Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes. We might get a Brady, Aaron Rodgers conference final.
You can't go wrong here.
A Mahomes, Brady Super Bowl, all the different possibilities.
You can't go wrong.
Yeah. A lot of good football here in December.
Football.
I will say this. The first week, and especially that first few hours of the free agent period, as far as non-football games, football stuff goes, I love it. The draft to me gets boring, but I love big names jumping. I think that's so much fun.
Come on. Football. Hey, can I hit that quarterback in the face? I want to do it.
Yeah. All right, boys. 4-question Friday. That's a wrap. We'll come up with 4 more for next Friday. Alliteration Central here on.
It might be 3. Who knows? We'll decrease them. Hey, it's 1 question Friday.
one question Wednesday. Hey, everybody. It's 2 question Tuesday. Purple Daily. All right. Thank you for hanging out with us. For Dex, for Judd, I'm Phil, and we will see you guys next time here on Purple Daily.